Hello, welcome to Darasa Online. My name is Mr. Kileo David Sonia Abubakari. I am a teacher. I'm a geography teacher. Today we are going to make a Form 4 geography revision. We are going to make a Form 4 geography revision because the topic that we are going to learn today, it is a Form 3 geography topics. Are you with me? So, today's topic, today's speaks is about the geography Form 4 revision. See this one. The main topic is forces that affect the Earth. Forces that affect the Earth. This is our main topic. Then we have the subtopic. Artificial forces. The artificial forces. This is our subtopic today. So listen to me good. It means we are going to make a Form 4 geography revision. We have our main topic of forces that affect the Earth. And right now we are going to focus much on each subtopic of the forces, of the artificial forces. Are you with me? So we are going to deal with the artificial forces. So by recalling what we have learned through different forces that affect the Earth, we have seen forces that affect the Earth has or can be divided into two: the internal forces as well as the external forces. See, the two forces, either the internal forces and the external forces, they are all natural forces. Natural forces caused by the natural processes or movement, we call. Sometimes influenced by the man's action. See, these are what we call the natural forces. So we have seen what are the internal forces. We have seen what are the external forces. Are you with me? So right today, we are going to see what are the artificial forces. The artificial forces. It means we are going to speak the forces opposite to the natural forces that facing or occurring on the Earth's crust and resulted to the formation of different landform, features, processes, etc. Are you with me? So what are the artificial forces? The artificial forces. The artificial forces. So as the word explained itself, the artificial forces, these are the forces which occurred over the land surface. These are the forces which act upon the Earth's surface. But they are not natural. It means they are occurring as influence of the human nature. Are you with me? It means these are the forces that occurred on the land surface. See, we are talking on the Earth's crust. On the Earth's what? Crust. influenced by the human activities. Man's nature. We are talking about the man's nature. See? The human life. So you may find all of these artificial forces, they may be a result of other factors, but they are strongly influenced by man. That's why we call them the artificial forces. See, different from the internal and external forces which occurred naturally, forced by different processes within or outside the Earth's crust as a result of natural factor. Are you with me? So this is the opposite of the natural forces, as we have seen earlier. So because today we are going to stick on the artificial forces, as I said, in a simple way, these are the forces that occurred as a result of the influence of a man. So as always, we are going to use different model questions, see, which will guide us from the start to the end of the lesson. Are you with me? So let's see some of the model questions, because I've said we are going to do the artificial forces. So let's see some of the model questions that we may use them from the start to the end of the lesson. So the first model question. See? So we have our first question right here. You say landforms over the Earth's crust may be influenced by the forces which are not natural. Giving 5 reasons, describe the origin of the forces. So the question right here, once you read it, it's written, the landform, we have different landform over the Earth's crust. And they say this landform may be formed not as a result of the natural forces. So we have to give 5 reasons describing the origin of the forces. It means the question needs us to explain the origin, the sources of the artificial forces different from the natural forces. Are you with me? So as I've said earlier, the artificial forces are the forces which occur as a result of the influence, or it occurred as a result of the man's actions. See? So let's see the origin. It means the origin is like the causes. See? The causes. It means we are going to see the causes of the artificial forces. So today we are going to explain the causes of the artificial forces. These artificial forces, they have their source, their origin. What happened? See? So we can categorize them into the major three groups. See? Even though the question needs us to explain 5 reasons. So those reasons can be categorized into 3 groups. It means we can explain the causes into the first. It means through the man's economic activities. Second one is war. The third one is the creation of artificial water bodies. So these are the 3 main groups which categorize the causes for the artificial forces. So what happened? Remember, the result of these 3 groups of the causes, they may have influenced the formation of different landforms over the Earth's surface. Different processes they may occur as a result of this group of causes, as I explained, as are the results of the artificial forces. Are you with me? So let's see in general what are the causes of the artificial forces. So we say the general causes of artificial forces. Artificial forces. Artificial forces. So we have the general causes of the artificial forces. One is mining. Because different forces may act upon the Earth's crust and may result to the formation of different features. So by starting with mining, we all know mining refers to the extraction of minerals and the other element from the ground. So we use different methods during mining. So the method used by a man during the extraction of mineral from the ground, they may disintegrate the rocks into the blocks or further smallest particles, which later may leave different landform, for instance, different depression over the land surface. That's why you may find different area where mining have operated at such places. You may find what? Different depressions left there, gaps over the land surface. What happened? It means there was the extraction, the removal of the part of the land somewhere else during extraction. So they may left large depressions. That's what's called the mining. So this is our first point. It means during mineral and the other element extraction using different method, it may change them into, it may change the land or them into different landforms. Example, gaps, or we say the depressions. Over the land. The depression over the land. And we call it the mining. So we take this as our first point. Then let's go to the second point. let's go to the building and construction process. For instance, during the construction of roads, large buildings, factories, sometimes we may need a remove or the remove of the large part of the soil or land to somewhere else. Are you with me? So it may involve the digging of the large part of the land so that we can get maybe a road, for instance, during road construction, bridges, during railways. Are you with me? So building construction example, roads, railway, large buildings, see, playgrounds, etc., etc. This may result to the remove of the part of the land. This may involve the shaking of the land. See? So once it shakes the land, it means the land may change from the cemented one into the weak one, easily removed by other erosional agents. Are you with me? So this may be the causes of the artificial forces, because we all know either the natural or the artificial forces, they may result to the formation of different landform over the land surface. So we take this as the second point. Then we go. The third point, farming activities. See? Farming activities. What does it mean? It means during farming activity, for instance, you want to clear area for cultivation. Then you have to make what we call the deforestation. You have to cut down the trees so that you can get a clear area for a cultivation. So the point is, once you are cutting down the trees, it means you are giving a gap for the area to become a bare land, where the erosional agents will be easy to operate on such land, and it may result to the formation of different gaps, features over the land surface. Are you with me? So it may either left it in a good, in a positive or negative ways. So we say farming activities, for instance, clearing of the areas, during cultivation. This it involves the breaking down of large rocks into blocks and further into smallest particles easy removed by erosion agent. Such as water, wind, ice, etc., etc. So we have seen the farming activity. Let's go to the another causes. We have what we call the fishing. Fishing. Right now we are talking about the fishing using the chemicals, either the dynamite fishing, bombing explosion. All of this, they may destroy the land from the hard one into the weak one, easily removed by the erosion agents. So we say fishing, example, using illegal ways or methods of fishing. Example, bombing. I mean, such as bombing, explosion, dynamite fishing, using chemicals to kill the fish. All of this in one way, they may affect the rocks around these water bodies chemically and may be easily eroded or disintegrated into fine particles by the chemical weathering process. We have seen what is carbonation, hydrolysis, oxidation. So because right now we have used chemicals during fishing, it means the chemical may react with the rock nearby the water bodies and may change it to the rocks which were once the hard one into the soft one, easily removed by the erosion agent. Are you with me? So fishing method, if will be the illegal ways. See, we are not talking about the using of different nets, the legal nets. No, we are talking about the bombing, see, over the water body, so that we can kill different species of fish. Or sometimes you can use chemicals to kill fish. This may affect the area and turn the rock around it into easy or less resistance rock, easily removed by the erosion agent. Are you with me? Then from there, let's proceed with other causes. The fifth one. We have what calls navigation. Navigation, it means we are referring to the transport through water. So what happened? For instance, when there is a marine vehicle navigate from one point to another over the water bodies. So for instance, let's say when there is an accident, see, let's say tankers, oil ship, vessel, carry oil tanks. Are you with me? So once there is occurring of accident, it means there may be what we call the oil spills over the sea or water body. Oil spills over the sea, oceans, or other water bodies, rivers, lakes, etc. So the point is, if the accident will occur, it means right now, let's say they have carried maybe the oil tanks, or even if they will not carry the oil tanks, once during the accident over the sea or water bodies, for instance, normally it may result into the oil spills over such water bodies. So the point is, the spills of water over the, of oil, the spills of oil over the water bodies may pollute the water, may turn the water into the unfit for use. Are you with me? The pollutant, the water will become the pollutant water. That's the first point. It means we have the pollutant water, not fit for use. But also chemical weathering may take place. Chemical weathering of the rock around such water, chemical weathering of the rocks around that water bodies, which will be easy removed. Why? Because once there will be the chemical weathering of the rocks around that water bodies, it means right now we expect the rocks will be changed into the less resistance rocks, easily removed by the erosion agents. including its own water. See? So what will happen right now, it means it will cause what you call the easy way of occurring of the erosion by other agents, as we know. So that's navigation. See? Then we have another causes, for instance, the construction. The construction of dams. Construction of dams and canal. See? For instance, Kariba dams, Akasombo dams, Suez Canal, Panama Canal. These are examples of dams, see, and a canal. So what are these? So we all know dams and canals. These are, for instance, dams, these are small depressions constructed by man for water reserve. We call them the dams. Canal can be the long valley-like features occurred after the removal of one part of the land, then become filled with water. It's what we call the canal. So we have Suez, Panama, these are examples of canal. We have different dams. See? We have the Cabora Bassa, the Kariba dams, Akasombo. All of these are dams created or constructed by man with the aim of either water reserving or the hydraulic power generation. Are you with me? So at this point, what happened, it means during the construction of the dams or the canal, it means it may involve the remove of the land or soil to somewhere else so as to give a gap. So once there is the removal of such land or soil, it may cause the soil to become weak, easily removed by the erosion agents. Are you with me? It means later it may form different landforms. For instance, rivers, lakes, canal, as we know, etc., etc. We have another causes. I say this as the general causes. Okay, let's see what we call wars. War. See? Either it's a civil war, army, we call the military war. Any type of war, any kind of war may result to either or may associated with what? With movement of large trucks and machines. See? We said bombing explosion. The flying of large, heavy aircraft. See? All of these are, once touch the ground, they may shake the land. Are you with me? This one. They may result to what? To the shaking of the land, vibration of the land. which in one way, either direct or indirect, may trigger off the occurrence of volcanic eruption, earthquake. Not only that, but the shaking of the land right now may trigger the occurrence of weathering, because the large part of the land may be shaking from the hard one into the less resistance, easily removed by the erosional agents. So you may find during war, different land disaster may happen, may occur, where later may result to the formation of different features. Different processes may occur as a result of war. I said we have the soil erosion, weathering, see? Killings of different species of the land surface. We are talking about the loss of the biodiversity. For instance, during the bombing explosion. So we have different points. Different effects occur as the influence of the different processes involved during wars. Are you with me? Then from there, we have another causes. Transport. See, right now we're talking about the normal transport in our daily life. We all know during transport there is a movement of either buses, trucks, we are talking about lorries. For instance, airports, aircraft. See, when the aircraft is arrive on a certain aviation place, okay, so the movement of either aircraft, buses, or trucks, they may also shake the land, and makes it less resistance. Later on, become easily removed by the erosion agents. See, right now we are talking about either water, wind, ice, or wave. So these are the general causes of the artificial forces. But I've said them, you can categorize these causes into the main three groups. Man's economic activity, we have wars, and the creation of artificial water bodies. We have seen canals, rivers. See? Economic activity, we have seen them, fishing, farming. Those are the man's economic activity, building, construction. So we take them into the main three groups. But the question, it needed us to explain 5 reasons as an origin of the artificial forces. So in a simple way, the question needed us to explain 5 causes for the artificial forces. Are you with me? Then from there, let's see, or let's discuss different landforms that may be formed as a result of the artificial forces. Are you with me? So in a simple way, I can say, let us explain the effects produced by the artificial forces. Okay? See, so we have the positive and the negative. So let us start with this one, the positive one. The artificial forces may result to the formation of man-made rivers, see, and canal. I mean, formation of the man-made rivers and canal. Example, the Suez Canal, Panama Canal. See, these are examples of what? Of the man-made rivers. Formation so another positive effect that it may result to the formation of the man-made lakes. See, for instance, the Cabora Bassa Lake. What happened to the land? It means after the shaking of the land, for instance, the part may be shocked and be carried away or removed by the erosion agents and may left a large or a small depression. So once the depression becomes filled or flooded with water, it may turn into what we call a lake. So the point is, because there was the artificial forces, artificial forces that act upon the land caused or influenced by the human actions, it means the lake that will be formed, we will call it the man-made lakes. Are you with me? Most of the times, these are the lakes formed as a result of the formation or construction of dams, for instance. Then from there, we have another positive effect. We say the formation of wells. See, we all know what are wells. Wells as a whole dug to tap water from the ground. So formation of wells, and normally when the water table meets the surface, it's where we may find well. Or sometimes different constructions can be done underground and may result to the formation of wells, where we may get water for different purpose, either domestic, industrial, or other essential purpose of water on human life. So the formation of wells, etc. Formation of formation of roads and the other construction, for instance, railway, aviation area, or airports. These are the results of the artificial forces created by man. When man acts upon the land, may result to the formation of different features. See, so we take this as a positive effects of what? Of the artificial forces. Then we have this one, the formation of the soil. Formation of the soil. That is when the large rocks splits or disintegrated into the smallest particles, which then undergo further simple and complex processes to form what we today call it soil. So soil is a result of both natural and artificial factors. But we have seen the action of man may result to the formation of soil. How? It means we have seen different large rocks have been broken down by different man's action into the smallest blocks, which undergo further disintegration into the smallest particles of rocks, which then accumulate together over a given land to form what we call regolith. Then regolith undergoes what we call further simple and complex process to form what we call soil. Are you with me? So there is the formation of soil. So we take it as the positive effect of the artificial forces. The forces are caused by a man, influenced by man over the land surface. Then from there, let's see the negative effects. We have the negative effects of the artificial forces. The first one, the artificial forces may influence the occurrence of the soil erosion. Soil erosion. How? Through shaking of the land. Shaking of the land. Weathering of the rocks. See? Deforestation, for instance. Bushfire. All of these, they may result to what we call the soil erosion. They remove the upper part of the soil to somewhere else by the erosion agents. We call it soil erosion. So the artificial forces, as we have seen earlier, can be the influence of the occurrence of the soil erosion through different methods, as I've mentioned here. Shaking of the land, weathering of the rocks, for instance, during bombing explosion, the deforestation, bushfires, etc., etc. Then from there, we say there will be the loss of biodiversity. Biodiversity. See, that is the total disappearance. Total disappearance of the species of living things, both plants, we call them flora, and the animals, we call them fauna. So the disappearance of the species of living things, living organism found on a given land. So how do this occur, or what happened? We have seen, for instance, during bombing explosion. During bombing explosion, it means right now there are maybe there may be what we call the burning of the land. So during the burning of the land, after the explosion of the bomb, it means it may result to the total loss of a given species of living organism, either plants or animal found in a given area. Apart from that, sometimes during fishing, we may use different chemicals. For instance, during dynamite fishing. So what happens? It means it may result to the killing of some species of fish within the water bodies. Apart from that, we have seen the effect of wars. See, mining. It means during mining, for instance, there is the emission of the pollutant gases into the atmosphere, which may result to the occurrence of greenhouse effect, global warming. So the global warming may result to the loss of biodiversity, total disappearance of the species of living organism after the increase in hot or warm condition of a given area. So you may find different species of living organisms, they may not survive in such area. Later on, we'll have what called the loss of biodiversity. Are you with me? Then from there, we said the negative effect of the artificial forces, they may result to the loss. It's a destruction of properties and loss of people's life. See? It means the destruction of properties. Right now we are talking as a building. For instance, during war, vehicles, bridges, we're talking roads, airports, playgrounds. All of this may be destroyed by the action of a man. For instance, during the war, either civil war or military wars, and may result to all of this, the destruction and the loss of people's life. We are talking about death. They may leave the land and not peaceful. See, after the occurrence of what we call a war, any kind of war may result to the dispute. See, no peace in the area, etc., etc. So I have tried to categorize them into these main three as negative effect of the artificial forces. Are you with me? Then from there, I can say today we have seen what are the forces that affect the earth, and we have focused much on what we call the artificial forces. So by making summary of today's lesson, we have seen what is artificial forces. We have come across different causes of the artificial causes. And I insist on this, that before explaining several causes of the artificial forces, you have to categorize them into the main three groups. We have the man's economic activities. For instance, farming, fishing. I'm talking about the agriculture, fishing, etc. We have wars. We have seen the dispute, the effect produced by the war. And then we have what we call the creation of artificial water bodies, for instance, rivers, canal, etc., etc. Those are the three groups which you can put them, or you can tell or explain them as causes of what? Of the artificial forces. Thereafter, we have seen the model question. The model question was asking about the origin of the artificial causes. What are the sources of the artificial causes? What are the causes? So I have tried to explain them. Thereafter, we have seen the effect produced by the artificial forces. So I would like to say thank you very much. Till the next time, you are most welcome to Darasa Online. Thank you very much.